What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm pretty excited. I got my entire frame pretty much ready. The front and the back half kit are on and they're welded. They're ready to go. The frame is cleaned off, sanded, and looking amazing, as you can tell. And today I'm going to be working on my new suspension system, which is Motobilt's double triangulated four-link front and rear. It's their new center section, and they just released it a couple months ago for their YJ. That's what they were designed it for. And as you can see, I do have one piece in here, but I'm going to explain to you guys today how to install this kit and show you guys exactly how to do it. Here we go. Check this out, guys. This is the brand new double triangulated four-link suspension mounting system for TJs, YJs, LJs from Motobilt. They just came out with this a couple weeks ago. It is part number MB7009, and this kit is a double triangulated four-link kit. So this is the center section that is actually going to go right in the middle of the frame, a little behind where that four-wheel dolly is, right in the center, right in here. And that is my new mounting location for my control arms. So what does this do? Well, this is the front here, and it basically takes the control arms and triangulates them, uppers and lowers. So front and back, I'm gonna have triangulated four-link, and this is a little different from the kit that I was running. The kit that I was running is actually back here, chopped up into pieces. It was a rock crawler X Factor kit. Had no problems with the X Factor kit. Absolutely loved it. Everything from rock crawler I absolutely love, but it was time for an upgrade, time for something beefier, time for something a little more go fast and have fun. So this is the kit that I went with. It is massive. I actually used an engine lift to get this up here because it is that heavy. It is stout. This is going to triangulate my front and my rear arms, upper and lower. And the difference is with the old kit, I actually only had triangulated rear arms. So this kit will triangulate the uppers and the lowers in the front and the rear instead of just the rear. The front, I had a three-link setup, so it had two lower control arms that were a little bit of triangulation in them, and then a third upper link, and it performed amazingly. I have no complaints with it. I'm just ready for something different and ready for an upgrade. I consider this to be a pretty big upgrade. So this is what I'm going to be running. Let me show you another difference here. So this is one of the biggest differences is in control arm joint size. So on the left, I've got my old rock crawler joints. I'm still going to be reusing these. I'm just going to be rebuilding them. On the right is a brand new joint. And if you can't tell the difference, the bore size of each of these is different. This is a 9/16 and this is a 5/8. So these new joints are stepping it up. The control arm mounts on this kit all call for 5/8 bolts. So it's upsizing it. Uppers and lowers all require the same 1.25 inch joints. So basically I'm going to be using this size. I'm going to take my old ones. I've got a bunch of new joints, but I'm also going to take my old ones and rebuild them with these. So That is a brand new center ball for a crawler joint with a 5/8 bore instead of a 9/16. So that is going to be huge. All right, guys, wasting no time at all. First step, basically what you're going to want to do when you start this process is once you've got everything stripped off of your Jeep, meaning your skid plate, you suspend your transmission, your transfer case, and everything like that, basically clean bottom of the frame. That's what I have here. My frame is upside down. I'm doing that so I can show you guys exactly how to install it, and well, I'm building a frame. So first thing we're gonna do is install this jig. Yes, it's a little rusty. It's been sitting in my garage for a while. So Motobilt supplies these jigs. There's one for the passenger and one for the rear driver side. They conveniently have it etched in. It says this side forward, and then it also says rear, line up with part number. That part number is for this rear truss right here. So basically what we're gonna do is, you can see here, this line, this hole is etched in for the YJ skid, as well as this one here. So if you're using a YJ, if you're installing this on a YJ, basically you're gonna use those two holes. If you're using a TJ, you're gonna use the other two holes. You're gonna line those up, and you're gonna bolt these in place with the factory bolts. Once those are in place, you're gonna do that for this side as well as the other side. And then all you have to do is butt your rear cross member right up to these alignment tools, and then you can put it in place and tack it in. That's exactly what I have done here. Tacked it in, it's all ready, set to go. Piece of cake. Motobilt makes getting this kit on a breeze. All right, so moving right along, we've already installed our rear cross member. Moving on to step 3, this is for the front cross member. To basically align your cross member and your skid plate up, you're going to take your front cross member, which I have sitting aside here, and you're gonna take these brackets and you're gonna bolt them all together. And then following that, you're gonna bolt that cross member to your skid plate. So your front cross member and your skid plate are both gonna be bolted together. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna lift it into place and then put your bolts for the skid plate into the rear cross member. If your bolts are lining up to go into the rear cross member, your skid plate is in place and it has located your front cross member right where it needs to go. So basically what we did was we mounted the skid plate to this front cross member. All we did was we put these 4 countersunk bolts in. Then we threw this whole thing up here, lined up the skid plate with the rear holes in this cross member back here that we welded on, and it put this front cross member with the brackets right where it needed to land. It put itself right in place just by bolting it on. Doesn't get any easier than this. So I went ahead and I tacked them here, tacked these brackets. Now I can pull the skid plate off and have 2 cross members on the frame, and then I can remove the front cross member, and my brackets for the front will stay in place. Okay, not too shabby. I got everything from the bottom side already welded in, looking good. The bottom side here doesn't have much weld surface. Most of it is on the top on these front brackets. So I'm gonna have to flip the frame over to get to the other side of it. But the rear is in. The only weld I have left is on the top side of those. So once I flip that over, I'll be able to get to all of it. All right, everybody, frame is welded. So here we go. Got these bad boys welded in on the other side after we flip the frame over. So this is fully installed now. Next, we are moving on to step number 5, which is these tubes here. This is some extra support cross members, and basically this entire assembly here gets welded up and installed. It is removable, so you can pull it out when you need to service your transmission, but it is a super beefy support that goes on the inside here. So I've got everything prepped and ready here. Everything's on labeled. It's got all these markings on it. Everything's labeled nice. So your brackets here basically makes this install really easy. It says tube 1, tube 2. Everything's labeled. So basically all you do is you put the flanges here, you put those in, you bolt them in, and line your tubes up. You tack them into place, pull it out and weld it. That's it. So that's what we're gonna move on to. Okay, we are all tacked in place. Looks really good. Everything lines up really nicely. All these tubes are already coped so that they fit really tight. Leaves a nice tight weld gap. That way you don't have to notch them yourselves. Looks really good. This is in place so that you can actually remove your skid plate and you can mount your transmission to this or your transfer case, and you can pull this support out to service them. So really nice feature. This is also removable. All right, so now that the tubes are in place and that cross member's in, we're gonna move on to the next step, which I'm gonna show you right here. So our cross member is all in. Next, we are going to go to the rear upper control arm brackets. These brackets are mounted to the rear cross member on each side. They're called weldments, and they get welded to the frame and the cross member. So another nice thing here is that Motobilt gives you perfect measurements so that you can measure them out, make sure they're perfectly separated, perfect distances from the uppers and the lowers. That way all your suspension geometry, all the work that they did to design this kit stays in place. They also have uppers for the front. Those are there, but we're gonna do the rears first. So here you can see 21.5 degrees from corner to corner of each tower, and we're gonna go ahead and measure those out. They basically go from corner to corner. I've got them all here. They're all ground down, sanded, cleaned with acetone, prepped up. So we're gonna go ahead and put those in. That wraps it up. This frame is completely welded. The 4-link kit is completely installed. Everything is done. I've welded my guts out this last hour, finishing everything up. The last thing I have to weld is the cross member tubes, but I'm gonna pull those and weld those tomorrow. I'm not too worried about those tonight. I'm gonna pull those out and weld them, take my time on them to make sure I get around all the curves just right, because I'm not too used to welding tubes, so it's gonna be a good practice opportunity for stuff I've got coming up. So basically I'm gonna do that, and while that's out, I'm gonna go ahead and do some more finish work with the sander, clean everything up, wipe it down with acetone, and get it ready for some Steel It. So thank you guys for watching. I've been working really hard on this one, and I know the last 2 videos here are kind of scattered because it's been a lot of back and forth with this frame. A lot of back to the front, moving around, trying to get everything done. I already had the rear cross member installed for basically because I cut the frame that I had in half and just had 2 frame rails. So I tried to make them before, but they didn't really come out great. So I ended up buying a frame, using those 2 frame rails, and I needed something to hold them together. So the center piece here, the center section with this 4-link kit was perfect for that, because as you saw, the instructions were spot on getting everything in place, lined up, and ready to weld in. So I was able to get the middle piece of the frame made really easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been all over the place. The other videos seem to be doing pretty well, so if you haven't checked those out, go check those out. I did a walk around of the entire Jeep, how I had it before. I also did a video on painting this entire body with Steelite. So that one's pretty awesome. I kind of go over my build plans and everything I'm gonna be doing over the next couple months as I rebuild this entire Jeep. So go check those out if you haven't. Please give this video a like, comment if you've got any questions at all, whether it's on this stuff, on my old Jeep, whatever it is, shoot me a comment and I'll try to get them and I'll try to answer them. So there is that. Please subscribe to the channel and give them a share. It's growing pretty well. Still new to YouTube. I'm still trying to learn how to use all the editing software, but I think it's working out pretty well. So here's the frame as a finished product, and you guys hang in there for the next video. See ya.